This episode of RP MMO Radio is brought to you by all our amazing and generous Patreon donors. Visit us at patreon.com/RPMMO Radio to help support the show. It is also brought to you by...
All right. Thanks everyone for coming. As you probably know, mobile games make easy money, and our polls showing the players have the lowest IQ score as well as a huge inability to self-regulate. As president of Crapco, I want to take advantage of these people as quickly as possible. I want every surprise mechanic, loot box, pay not to wait, pay to win, and look good option there is. So, I need ideas from you peons so that I can go forth and get that extra house I've been eyeballing in Maui. You, there, what have you got?
Okay, Preston, hear me out. House simulator. We basically just rip off The Sims. But every time they want something new, like an appliance or a wallpaper change, hear me out. It costs 5 cents. Not much. No. But projections show it's so insignificant enough. Our focus group gave 5 of their kids to keep playing. 5 kids. I mean, no, we got workforce. Yeah. They're we put them to work in merchandising, making bobbleheads. I mean, how much better can it get?
Great. Sounds good. But raise it to 7 cents. We'll get more, and likely they'll think they're just getting a good deal because it's not 10. You, there. Go.
Okay, boss. A long time ago in a distant future galaxy, space wizards fight with space warlocks in a PvP battle system with their laser swords come in styles and colors and strengths. But they all come from completely random loot boxes. Great thing is, 99.7% of the time, it's the same stuff, and it only gets harder to get the good stuff. And the items from there on out, boss.
Space wizards. Sounds stupid. Nerds will love it. Perfect. You, last lady. Shoot.
Right. So, currently, we use app stores to sell our games, but those take a percentage. We've made enough money, thanks to lucking out on the newest genre after Battle Royals faded with our smash hit of Mega Battle Royals and having 1,000 people fight each other. We need to open our own store, but not just any store. We promise people more money back than the others, but with lots of loopholes. And on top of that, we throw money around to purchase executives and exclusives from all those others so that not only we have them, but no one else has a choice but to use it. They'll complain at first. Lots of, I'll never buy it from, but in the end, their lack of self-control will win and they'll cave and accept it.
I like the way you think. Corner the market. Take it all for ourselves. Brilliant. You're gonna go far in this business, doll. All right, everybody, make it happen. And remember, per your contracts, your jobs and your lives depend on each of these plans succeeding. Now, get out of here. My hookers and blow just showed up, and I've got things to do.
You're listening to RP MMO Radio.
Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Where entertainment and roleplay in MMORPGs have little hybrid mutant babies.
Make a note of this. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your whole family.
And now, here's your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Civ, Jazz, Strafe, and Yunfei.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Hello, role players. Welcome to RPMMO Radio, episode 93, Mobile MMOs. Yikes. Yeah. I, of course, am your host, Ashen Phoenix, who can be now heard because he's not muted himself and will have to go back and re-record all his lines from that. But it's all right because everyone else was heard.
Good job, boss. Good job. Good job.
That's why I make the big bucks. That's right, everybody. Remember, cute and cuddlies, fellas. Cute and cuddly.
Wait, can it blow up?
When you have a face like this, you don't need talent or understanding or technical know-how. That's right. Hey. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We do this nearly every Saturday, 7 Central Time, over at twitch.tv/RPM Radio. We'll talk about roleplay, or in this case, the lack thereof in a certain genre of everything taking over and making things not fun. As I said, I'm Ashton Phoenix. With me today is Jazz, Sib, and Strafe. Yunfei could not make it because she was the one getting my hookers and blow, which doesn't make any sense for you listening live, but those of you that heard it on the podcast will understand. You will understand.
Dubious clap included, eh?
It's been a while since I've fucked that up. I've been so careful about it, and I just...
After you told all of us to be careful.
Well, see, I was muted on... I have like 5 different things I can mute myself on, and it's a headache. It's hard. I don't think anyone understands how hard...
You know what I'm hearing?
Eventually. I'll learn eventually.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing excuses.
They're perfectly acceptable reasons.
Oh, no.
Disguised as excuses.
We would get raked over the coals if we did something like that.
I wouldn't rake you over coals. I would rake you over spikes first, and then the coals would be dropped on top of you.
So how's those spikes feel? Huh?
I wouldn't know. I'm the boss. I don't have to rake myself over anything.
Well, no, we're going to rake you
I just have to spend 30 minutes after the show fucking rereading that and then editing it all back in correctly. Thank God I didn't talk over any of you. So, how's everyone doing this week? Doing all right? Everyone good?
It was a busy week for me, but no catastrophes, hospital visits, or other problems, although they're trying very hard to have that happen.
The
people taking care of my son.
Oh, is it not going great?
It's just such a catastrophe.
It's such a great thing that they don't, let you do it now.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they left the... Well, I don't know what happened the first time, but he pulled out his feeding tube. He does that on occasion, then he eats it.
Ew.
He didn't eat it this time. So they took him. And these are places, by the way, where you go to recover from surgery, to get better after you've fallen, and they can't put a feeding tube back in.
Oh, jeez.
So they're like, we're going to take him to Grinnell. I'm like, I'm coming to see him in like 2 hours. Well, he won't be back here by then. Okay, fine. So I didn't get to see him that day. And then when I went today to go see him so I could spend a little time with him, if you don't know anything about feeding tubes, there's this little doohickey that connects to the feeding tube, which you then connect to the syringe that puts the food into the line, right? They just leave it on there, apparently.
Oh, they don't disconnect it?
So there's a tail connected to his feeding tube, and he's a little boy in his mind.
Right.
He's basically a baby. What do babies do when they see something?
Same thing puppies do. They bite it.
Yeah, they bite it, they pull on
They
it.
play with
so
it,
they
yeah.
basically left a tail connected to his feeding tube, and he was in the process of yanking it out when I got there.
Yeah. Ugh.
And I got in there, and I got it unhooked and pushed it back in and, tapped it back down into place and said, "Don't touch that!" And he looked at me and grinned. You little shit! You know you're not supposed to mess with that.
Or
stalked off to the nurses and said, "Do you see this? You see this?"
Oh, no.
He was like, yeah. This was attached to his feeding tube.
This hostile Jazz moment brought to you by Jazz and her parenting hour.
So
it just makes me so crazy.
Unrelated, anybody else hear that story about the nurse that was found strangled with a feeding tube? No, I know, it was so weird. It was such a random act of just...
Yeah.
They say it had to have been an act of passionate violence. Yeah, I don't know. I don't...
Parent.
Yeah. Could been. Who's to say with these things? You will probably never know.
But anyway, I worked a lot. 4th of July weekend screwed everything up.
It felt, though, it was a weird fucking week, wasn't it?
It was.
Really
because I didn't work
weird.
Thursday, but I worked Wednesday and Friday. And it was...
And then Friday felt like Monday.
And it was kind of like somebody dumped a whole bunch of gel onto the surface of the sun. And it was boiling.
Oh, I was like, I'm not following your your sun gel.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I'm
Makes
a
it
little
all
lost.
gooey. Everything's
Oh.
gooey. It's disgusting. The air was gross, and I had to be out in it all the time.
I think that's bad.
So
Come check
much
out
fun.
Houston.
No, I can imagine. I've been told Houston's worse than Florida, which I can't even fathom because Florida was awful.
Yeah. Somebody,
But
Mr.
that's all I
Face,
did, basically.
For those the fans of the EQ1, really it is through a swamp down here. Houston is really grub. You just didn't know.
Right. Did anybody get any role play this week?
I got some. I role played a little bit in Tor, and I role played a little bit in ESO. So both were kind of fun. We're still working on the CL storyline.
Yeah.
So we've been able to move that along a little bit. I did some writing, which was good.
That was nice. That was good. Everyone had a good time there.
Nice. So it's really just Romeo and me, largely.
Yeah.
And Caves. The three of us are really carrying this storyline right now. So it's kind of fun because we're all working on it, and it's moving forward very slowly. And Romeo's very
impatient
antsy to see it move forward, and it's going very slowly because I keep waiting for other people that are involved to get involved, and I don't want to just carry it to the end and only have 3 people enjoy it. So I'm trying to go as slow as possible so that we can include as many people as possible. But that does mean that those who are intricately involved in the storyline are going to have to be patient because it's going to take a little while.
Yeah. I know that's kind of what I noticed. We tried to do that one role play, and it's like there's nobody in the fleet at all, and it's Final Fantasy XIV's expansion came out this week,
right? So this is just because that's out. I think everybody's playing it, and so all of the regular role players that we see, just kind of that are very casual role players, are all missing. So there's no background noise of other role players anywhere.
Yeah,
Riften was dead.
I got curious about that
dead
too. So, and it's not I actually think it's a pretty good litmus test. Just looking at the viewer count on Twitch, like click on the game. So like ESO had like last night it was 2,000 people, and they both. Nice. And what's funny is ESO and Final Fantasy XIV, they both have like they're like within 20,000 people of each other, like 750 and like 776, I think, different, people following those channels. So ESO had 2,000, Final Fantasy XIV, 14,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So 7 times as much. I tell you that the fan base in 14, man, they're crazy loyal to their game for sure.
Well,
way more than
and
ESO
I think
people.
It also is that it's a different type of crowd, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have that many more people subscribed to it yet. It had 7 times the amount of people watching it. It's not like ESO is like, oh, there's been no expansion recently. Yeah, less than a month ago it was like maybe a month now we had one, and which is still better though than EverQuest 2, which had 12, not 1,000, just 12. Like they could fit in my house the number of people when we have.
Would it be like
Christmas.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
12. Yeah, just
okay.
Like depending if you were raised around Chernobyl, you could count them on both your hands. Right. 12. EverQuest 1 had over like 120. So,
that says a lot right there, man.
Right. Yeah. The 20-year-old game has more than its sequel that came out 4 years after. It's oof. That's rough. It's rough. But yeah, I think people just think. I mean, I know I actually I started playing 14 again. Mostly I'm just doing it for the story. I didn't get the last expansion, so I got this one because then in $40 I got this one and the last one. So really it was like $20 a piece.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play through the story, and
I think a lot of people, that's what they do is they go to and our expansion in ESO sucked ass, so we lost a lot of people right away, and then as soon as
new game,
so then you've got the everybody's waiting now. The lull before the storm has hit Tor because the new content's not going to hit till September.
Right.
Yeah. So we're in that lull, and then Final Fantasy wisely releases in the lull of both games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and of course everyone just flocks to it. So.
Yeah, well, if ESO had done better, they would have overlapped, but
Yeah, but they didn't.
Yikes.
So everybody that loved it is done with it. And so
Mhm.
Final Fantasy waited just long enough for that to happen.
Yeah. Faux shizzle. I have fun. I mean, it's the same game I left before it. It's Final Fantasy 14. I mean, it's everything it was after A Realm Reborn came out. It's not changed a whole lot. Only now, sexy bunny girls are everywhere.
Of course they are.
It's like 1 in 4 right now is sexy bunny girls.
And
sexy
that
bunny
is
girls,
why
sexy
I
bunny
stopped
girl.
playing. That and the floating muskrats. I couldn't.
You and the
She is a
Mog.
Mog hater.
She
Oh my
is.
goodness.
That's racist.
I bought the game. I started playing the game in the very opening credits. It showed that thing. I just about walked away from the game right then. Okay. I think I did really well playing it for 3 months. I should get an award because I was irritated by those things from the get-go.
She's a hater of Mogs, but I don't know if I can talk to her ever again.
Yeah, really, Strafe, when you get down to it, it's just racist. I mean, she just...
I didn't want to say it because I'm her friend, but I'm glad someone did.
Yeah, I mean, somebody. We only speak the truth here, and she's racist again. It's a whole race. They're sentient, and you hate them. You hate all of them for no reason. I don't know why you. On behalf of all people everywhere, to the Mog and the Moogle community, I apologize on behalf of RPM Radio.
We apologize to the Moogles and the Kakatar and everything else.
Uh-huh.
How can
Yeah.
you hate? They're so fluffy and cute. You just hate
They
cute things.
vote. That makes no goddamn sense.
They're magic.
I don't care. It's stupid.
Magic.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
No, it's
Gives me
not.
a headache.
It's cute. It's
Gives
awesome.
me a headache.
And there's a sweet arcade machine in Golden Saucer called Mog House. It's adorable.
And they say,
Oh my
"Cuckoo,
god, vomit.
cuckoo."
Man, what a hater. Dang.
All right. Well, I guess somebody should talk about roleplay here. So, Jazz, I
We
guess you
should.
did some this week.
I did. We did. We worked on the Cial storyline, and it was nice because we're moving forward, and some of the inner layers of Cial are starting to be peeled away, and they're starting to figure out the level
You
of
mean like an onion?
fuck-uppiness that she is. She's really, a messed up girl, and there are reasons, of course, and now they're starting to figure that out, and it's been a lot of fun. And she's been kind of grumpy because people are like, what
Cranky.
yeah, so she's been kind of cranky, and it's been a lot of fun though to play her again. I've missed her because she's been on hold. And then with Kia Karis, we've had in guild roleplay has kind of started to expand again. We've gotten some new people. We had another guild that has taken an interest in us through Tamlin, who is a member in our guild in Alanu, but also has been in Telvanni even before she was a part of our guild. And she has her own guild called, I gotta think here,
The Ethereal
Consortium.
If you
Ethereal,
go to
I had
our
look it up.
go to the-
Ethereal Consortium.
yeah.
And it's apparently an old guild that's been in ESO for a very, very long time, back when things were split into pieces. So,
Yeah, into tries.
yeah.
But
So-
yeah, go to our Discord, rpmradio.com/Discord. She put up a link to her
Yes.
guild Discord over in your RP
which I think is
promotion,
really
so,
cool, and
yep.
they seem like a bunch of really fun people. So
If you're looking for something
they did a talent show Thursday night with us, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So
Yep.
and we're
If you're
gonna-
looking to be
Tam's
around a
gonna
bunch
start.
of filthy high elves and their jaundiced skin and their bad
Mhm.
teeth, or wait, no, I'm going to Britain's.
Mhm.
The British. Yeah.
I detect some major hate afoot.
Hey, at least I like Moogles. Not a racist.
That's true. That is true. That says volumes.
Sigh.
And I don't hate all of them, just their pointy faces.
I didn't hate Faye, just the
They're not
bubbly
even-
ones.
They're not.
I
They're
like.
not. They're not Fae. They're Moogles. They're their own thing.
I don't care. They're stupid.
They bind the Final Fantasy together.
So was that? And I know we tried in Star Wars, but it was
We
just
tried
me,
in Star
you,
Wars.
and Ken or Ericus,
Yeah.
and we just
It was
we kinda
really
ran
not
out
a
of
whole lot of people. Now I should say that I'm still interacting with the hand. No, not what they're called.
Thanks for following Bad Chemistry. Appreciate it.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm trying to remember what the name of the stupid guild. Something hand.
For the stupid guild that's
Unseen
listening
Hand.
to us, we apologize for the jazzy me.
Oh, stop it!
Oh, that's
Unseen
right.
Hand.
The Unseen Hand who ripped off EverQuest 1. I'm just saying.
Anyway, they're really cool guys, and I have enjoyed role playing with them. Shout out to Nact and Malarix, because those are the two that I interact with the most. And so I did have some role play with them earlier, but they haven't been around as much ever. But it's kind of this thing.
Yeah, it really
Summer,
it really is the SWOTOR lull now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's because of that. So there's, but
And
we did get
summertime.
together, some of us, and we role played in on the fleet, and then we went to the stronghold and role played there for a little while. But it wasn't bad. It just was really casual because there wasn't many of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just we kind of chatted for a bit, and they were like, "Well, I'll see you guys later."
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really the only role play that I've had. We had poetry night in ESO. We had the guild night on Thursdays, and then we had the Telvanni on Friday. So I have had role play. Just it's been. Oh, I did have a date. Sildrini had a date. I remember that now. I just almost forgot. Sildrini had a date.
It was very memorable.
Apparently, Sunday, I think. I don't remember what it was, but she had a date with an orc that she's friends with in Telvanni. He's a lawman, and he asked her out. So she was like, "Sure." He didn't do so hot, but he tried.
No. Bless his heart. He didn't stiff her with the bill, did he? He's like, I left my coin pouch in my other leotard.
Yeah, no, they met at her place, and he was going to cook, and he showed up in street clothes, and she was dressed to the nines. So that was not a good look. But he went and
one
changed.
wonders if she's used to a certain amount of elegance in her life.
Yes, she is.
One just thinks.
Yeah, she's used to a certain amount of decorum when it comes to dating. She's actually very old-fashioned because she's, 250 years old. She's not a child.
Be courted.
Yes, she wants to be courted. And Jaren, who's one of her significant boyfriends, I guess you want to call it, very much courted her. But he's been unable to play and hasn't been around very much. So she decided to go out on a date and see what this guy was like. But they had some fun, and they got to know each other a little better. But we'll see where it goes from there.
He probably heard that she gives great tusk.
Uh-huh. She probably does, but not that night.
Dinner wasn't that good, and neither was your
It wasn't that good. Conversation wasn't that good. The rest of it's going to have to wait.
Ooh. It's a newbie mistake, and you hate to see it happen, but they
and that's the somewhere. Thing I think that comes from, I'm 50. I've done this a long time. And I've been on thousands of real life dates in my lifetime with various, friends as well as boyfriends.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if we're counting actual dates, I think I could count them on my Chernobyl hands.
I've had a lot of dates since I was 16 years old. And a lot of them are just with, people and friends, but because a date is a date, you meet, you hang out, you get to know each other. And whether it's for romance or not, there's certain things that you do and you don't do. And I learned that pretty young, but I know a lot of young people, especially now, I'm surprised to discover, have never been on a date.
Yeah.
They don't even know what to do.
It's like through the apps. I mean, that's how our daughter met her boyfriend. It was through an app. They met through the apps.
Mm-hmm.
Some dating app thingy. And it's like...
Yeah.
And it shouldn't weird me out, given how many people we know that have met through the internet. It's basically just an extension of that, but for some reason, it's still weird to me, and I don't know. Well, it probably isn't. It's just, but I'm also old. I mean, if I
ever have to date again, I will not use one of those apps. So I will be kind of lost.
I think I just stay by myself because I don't go to bars. I don't trust the apps. It's probably
I like bars and I enjoy them.
For me, it'll be some Russian agent or something like that. It'll be Nikolai over down in Moscow. Like we finally have him on the hook.
Well, and that's actually kind of funny you say that because it's true.
Oh yeah, there's lots of bots.
Several of my clients over the years.
This has been the dating hour in RPM radio.
They're dating and they use those apps and they've gotten fished a lot.
It does, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really nervous about that. So that's never going to happen. But anyway, the point is that I don't think the player really knew
how to date.
Yeah. Well, maybe she doesn't, maybe the player does, maybe she doesn't, but the gentleman did not for sure. And it was fun because it made her painfully aware of how old she is. And that hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm 250 years old and he's 30.
Yeah.
That might be a problem.
It's like seeing pictures of Ralph Macchio and we're like, oh my God, how old am I?
I know, right? When you
For
see
those of
him,
you that don't know Ralph Macchio, that's the Karate Kid.
Yep.
That's no longer a kid. I'm pretty sure he's probably a grandpa at this point.
Yeah, it's really disturbing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was probably the funnest thing that I did privately away from guild roleplay and stuff is the CL thing and then Sully's date.
Sorry for that. We're gonna have, if you hear random booms, I'm not being shot at. That's just our neighborhood. The 4th of July being in the middle of the week goes from one weekend to the other.
That's fun.
Yeah. I'm used to it. So yes, we're not being shot at. Probably.
I hope not.
But yeah, no, that sounds like a good time. Hopefully, if there is a second date, which of course, if they hear this, there may not be.
Well, that's true. The player may be angry with me, but it was very fun, and I had
just because the date went horrible. I mean, even real life bad dates make amazing stories later.
Oh, they do. And some of my longest running friends that I had for, they don't now because I've been living in the boondocks for 20 years. But prior to that, I was still friends with most of them. So, yeah, seriously. Paddle faster. Yeah. But that was I think I enjoy roleplay the best when it makes my character grow or change. And I really enjoy. Yeah, that she realized, damn, I'm really old.
I'm not getting any younger. Yeah.
Maybe I should stop dating boys and start looking for men. Yeah.
Well, how about
there's a plot to kill Voli.
I feel like we needed a cougar.
Yeah.
There.
Sully sets her gaze back on Trithalis and says, "Huh."
Yeah.
I could kill that. I could kill that orc. I could be a good mama. This could work. What a gun.
I can take him.
What
about you, Straface? You got any role play? It sounds like at least if you did poetry night, I guess you had some.
Poetry night went off like a hitch, like it always does. I was extremely tired. Apparently, my son likes to scream and cry until I get up, check his unmentionables for dire consequences, clean him up, and then set about reading him a fair tale. He then settles back like a little gentleman, pulls up the covers, and exposes his tiny little nub of a tusks. The moment I quit reading, thinking he's dead asleep, he'll open his eyes, start making a noise. I start reading, he smiles. I think there's a conspiracy afoot. A conspiracy of me getting no sleep at all. This is quite hilarious to Voli, no less. Who feeds him, sees him to the day, but the moment he sees me, he screams, cries, I have to pick him up. And I have to read him a story. At least 3. No more, no less. It has to be 3. Then I can get out the door and go do my patrols, go do my deal. I'm noticing these dark depressions forming around my eyes. I think it's sleep deprivation. Something I cannot heal. Interesting thing happened at poetry. My dear niece Kia came up and said, with a shaky and wary look, "Well, I don't know if you're my father or my uncle, but I'm going to sit here and trust." I said, "For shame, dear girl. Can you see the circles under these eyes?" She smiled just a bit. I said, "Rest assured, you can tell me apart by the one who has no sleep." She chuckled, seemed to set her at ease. We had a fair night of poetry. Many went up. Many laments were given. Many drinks were imbibed. At some point, I just felt faint. Decided to go lay down. I made it to my niece's room. I think it's her room. It was purple sheets. Yes, it was hers. And I just passed out. I then woke up later in my own bed. Not sure quite how I got there. Maybe it was a spell in my sleep. And that was it, Journal. It is story time. The tyrant rages. I shall be back. This one waited for him to leave, and once he left, this one creeped into the bar. He must be wary of this red guard. This red guard asked many questions. This one is starting to think he's a cop. Or at least a town guard. You know the kind. Ask these, ask that. The edge of ire in his voice. But this one knew that his hunt partner, Sia, was there. So this one bounded up, did the dance of joy, and she turned and she smiled. This one told Sia, this one is glad to see you. He is so happy. It's time to do the dance. There were insults leveled at this one from that red guard. That wretched red guard, I tell you, honestly. He trusts no one. So this one, he was crafty. He hit his tail on the Sia's leg, which, is all code in the hunting in the woods. And then he put his hat on that one. We shall have a chat later. She knows the place. Away from that wretched red guard. It'll be great. Just like old times. I could hear him talking in the background, saying, "Oh, he's a mercenary. Here, I give you money, Sejoris. You hire him." This one has worked with Sejoris before. Sejoris is... Well, he grows firm when he gets angry. And he knows mostly that Sejoris is a good warrior, but sometimes he is the pawn. So this one ignored that and kept talking to Sia in his most unusual way. She seemed happy to see me. I danced a bit more. And when the guard started asking too many questions, this one did a quick bow and then rolled in my own special way out the door. It is time to go find my favorite ball of yarn and the moon sugar hidden within. The end!
The end!
Oh, and I was playing some Tor on my Jedi Knight.
Yes.
It feels good to be the good guy.
Sneaky person, and I wasn't able to go find him. I will soon, however.
Way back in the day, to give you Kitty's little RP story, when I first rolled a character, I asked Jazzy B here if it was all right. Since he's a Miraluka, and the mask I chose looks like a torn Jedi robe that's like stapled together, if she would be cool with her having killed his master, and he used the remnants of his robe as kind of an honoring way to honor his former master, and at the same time cover up the sockets that have no eyes. She agreed. He's got a scar on his face from that traumatic event. The last time that she ran afoul of my Jedi Knight, he said something to the effect of, "I forgive you. There is a spark of good in you, even though you deny it. You should really meditate with me. We see if we can find the root of your problems." It freaked her smooth out, and she ran for the Sith Hills.
Yeah, it did.
So I'm looking forward to the next time this red evilly Twilight rolls through. Because I'll just pull out the Luke Skywalker angel food cake and be like, "Hey, have another cookie." Isn't it great?
And then you'll uncharacteristically try to kill her in her sleep over a simple misunderstanding.
Oh, no. There'll be none of that.
This
now.
guy is
No,
so good, it freaks her out because she
that's
can't
how canon
upset
works
him.
now. That's how the canon works.
Yeah, it's pretty fun because I got his light side. I think it's at level 3. It's almost a level 4 as of today. And he's like, his skin complexion is looking real good. It's that light side aura that starts showing up on you the higher you get. So she's really going to freak out when she sees him this time. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. The end.
So what'd you do, Sib? That's
I'm
awful.
thinking. I tried Nuclear Winter and Fallout 76, which has been fun. I'm still playing Dead by Daylight, which has been fun and stressful. I don't know why I let that game stress me out, but it does.
Yeah, you get stressed.
Yeah. Other than that, that's about it. Watch some Stranger Things.
Yeah, we're about halfway through that.
Yeah, but no.
Don't worry, no spoilers. I did think the RoboCop
I have not
parody
had
was a
any
little strange,
baseball
but
this week.
yeah, that was the good thing.
Anyway, go ahead.
Good.
I don't want to have to talk under you.
She was a good target for everybody to smoke the noob first when we were running around Nuclear Winter.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Well,
I know you guys were playing Nuclear Winter.
We played earlier today. We got second place after she died. We kept kept going on. We divided our gear up like good mercenaries would. And she's doing better. She's getting the hang of it. So
Wait a minute. I was the last one to survive on that when we took second. It was when you guys took seventh. I died.
let's see. Let me think.
That's what
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, I'm
That's what I said.
I was the last one to be alive on that when we took second. It was me and Benjamin Z or whatever it is.
That's right. My bad.
Yeah.
No, you did good on that match.
You just have to keep carrying them, Sib. That's what you got to do. You got to carry these two, slackers.
Hey, man, listen here, buddy.
Yeah.
Someone's keeping your old lady safe in freaking nuclear winter, man. I'm taking the bullets.
I hide very well.
But yeah, you finally had tried that and actually ended up liking it, which is that's the Battle Royale in Fallout 76.
And I am not his old lady.
Well, to be technical.
I mean, you are 4 years my senior.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, and you're married. You're hitched, girl. There's no way around this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will revise my statement. I am protecting your lovely wife at a game of scum and villainy from bullets flying everywhere, and I've taken the grenade twice while she ran away. Like, hey, which way do I go? I'm like, that way. It's a firewall. Run! I'm bleeding.
Away from the giant wall of fire.
Hey, wait a minute. There was a point yesterday whenever Steffe was like, "Well, let's loot this stuff," and then I'm like, "Shouldn't we run? The fire's coming." Nope. And it killed two of us. Actually, it killed all four of us.
We were running through it. It was bad. It was bad news. That firewall
You can't outrun that crap.
Is it really fast in that game? I know a lot of the others it's a pretty close thing. Like they're a little like Apex and I don't know Fortnite, but PUBG. Like the wall is just a little faster than you are. Is this one like way faster than you are?
I don't know how you can get out of it. I've been caught in it twice and just got burnt up.
Does it kill you quick?
No, it's
No,
slow.
but it
It's
knocks you
radiation
down.
and a slow health drain. The thing
Okay.
is, if you have the improved sprint, you can get away from it. And if you're closer actually to the safe zone,
Right, where it's going to stop.
move slower. But if you're farther away, that ring will just it'll eat your face.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I haven't played it yet, obviously. So
It's fun.
was asking. I played my friend Pedro. Streamed the whole thing. Actually took about 3.5 hours. Yeah. So that's weird. It was.
Hey man, vote for Pedro.
It was Pedro was a banana that talked to you. It's a side-scrolling like 2-stick shooter. Like you run with the left one and you point which way you're shooting with the right, and then you trigger and all that stuff. And I thought it was actually fun. It was very fluid. It was very nice looking. It's about a 4-hour game, 3.5, I guess, 3 depending on your skill level. I got stuck at a couple places a few times, and it wasn't the greatest quality of streaming. I didn't realize that the volume of the game was way louder than I was, so you can barely hear me. So I got that fixed, but hopefully when I stream, I think I'm going to do Doom or the Cthulhu game next. Kind of eyeballing Doom. I've never played the new one.
Doom
so.
is good, bro. It's real fun.
Yeah. What are you saying, Jazz? Our Twitch chat isn't working?
I can't get it to post anything I'm typing.
Oh, I can't do nothing about that. Test. Oh, posted for me?
Well, then what's...
It's probably you. Yeah, works for us.
I saw you post howdy listeners.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Then why isn't it showing here?
You might need to refresh. Yeah, I don't know. Twitch is not perfect by any stretch. It has its issues. But yeah, it was fun. It's a good game. Probably.
There it goes.
Hope to stream stuff soon. There you are. See?
Okay, never mind.
No, let's stop the whole show for Jazz.
Whatever.
You did, Jazz.
Oh man, no, it's all over. This whole thing's ruined. We may as well just give up the whole thing. Look at. Let's see here. What do you think, Pickle Rick? Yeah, he can't talk because he's a pickle. So, yeah, it was cool.
So many bad things I could say to that. I will be.
Awkward
That's
silence.
you,
Let's keep
Jazz.
it going.
Take the pickle. Take the whole pickle. Oh crap! dropped my pickle on the floor.
Oh dear! You should grab it, but be gentle.
It just
Somebody stomp it.
thumped down there. So no, it's cool.
Poor pickle.
Yeah, I know.
Needs to be petted.
Womp 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 womp.
Enough of that now.
So nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Are you blushing?
Me? No. I started the
Okay.
pickle joke. Which, by the way, I won this. I won this in a crane game because I'm amazing at those crane games. Somewhere. I forget where we were.
What was
Synergy.
that?
Oh, I hit my...
Your pickle got excited over there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm noticing a theme here, boss, that the ladies are way too invested in pickle.
Oh, yeah. It thumped...
Made a weird dwong sound.
Well, yeah. If you heard... Swing.
No, that was more of a dwong.
Well, that's...
Not a swing.
It's
A
spring...
dwong.
It's spring-loaded.
Remember, ladies, the cougar hours of the after show after this show.
Yeah.
Oh, the cougar hour. I'm still learning. I'm still learning from the best.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Yeah, it's let's see here.
Oh my god!
Don't kill our
Spring-loaded.
chest.
Oh,
I can't make the same noise.
I feel better now.
Yeah, Ericus, I agree. An ideal birthday gift would be a pickle.
I got a whole jar
I
of
do
them.
like pickles. They have to be the right size, though.
No, none of those little baby pickles.
No, those are
No
too easy to
gherkins.
bite in half.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
I prefer
horrify.
a thick pickle so that I have to, you eat and get the juice on. You have to suck it off.
Again, the cougar hours after in the after show. To
So-
finally remove it to the after.
I'm talking about a pickle. That's all I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I don't know what you're
totally
getting at,
innocent.
Strafe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So mobile MMOs, boss.
So completely unrelated. I was reading this thread of horrible nurse stories, and apparently one guy came in missing a part because apparently having a car accident in the middle of Roadhead is not an ideal situation.
Oh no, I'm cringing over here in
Yeah.
Texas. Ah.
That went from a regular full-size pickle to the baby dill. Yeah.
Oh, that makes that even bothers me.
Yeah. That was,
Tensile strength of the human jaw. Ready to go.
Yeah. I'm very positive that's not good for your teeth. Our dental insurance isn't that good.
Oof.
I eat ice.
Oof.
Okay.
Good luck, Ashton. She's got her teeth sharpened. I'm
Ah,
sorry,
you
bro.
guys. So, all right. Well, enough of that craziness. Do we really have to talk about mobile MMOs? Whose
Yeah, we
idea
really
was
do.
this?
I don't want to, but we gotta have to.
I think Strafe had this idea.
It's not a bad idea. We should talk
It's
about
a
it. because
terrible idea because they're awful.
Well, they are awful.
They're horrible. And the statistics I
Pretty terrible
found.
bad.
Oddly enough, I was doing the statistics, and when I get to that part, I'll go over it. And then I found another statistic that basically proved the statistic I had just come up with, which is also depressing. But yeah, I actually played 3 of these fucking things too. I've tried them off and on, but
I just find them stupid because they're just money.
they're
Gamble. That's it. They're gambling and money.
Yeah, they're like
Ugh,
everything
they're awful.
wrong with mobile market games all rolled into one game. And
yeah, totally.
you can't, and I know you're probably like, well, what do mobile MMOs have to do with RP? And the answer to that is
nothing.
absolutely nothing, which is kind of actually the point of why we want to talk about them, because they exist. And they are, in fact, drawing resources from actual PC
A lot of resources.
and console MMOs. So
Because they've cut their funding to regular MMOs that exist.
Entire teams have gone over to
and
it.
developments of MMOs that are coming to pursue mobile gaming because it's such a money pit that they make so much money at it that they just can't turn it down.
What was that? There's 1, 2, adventure, not time. Quest 3D, was that it? I think I'm double checking. Yeah, there was one. and I've tried it before, but I think it was Adventure Quest 3D, which I think I said last time. The good thing about it is what you're playing on the computer is the same game you're playing on the phone. So your character goes between the two. So it actually has some depth, and which is kind of nice. It's at least it's a continuation, and it's more deep than some, but it's very basic looking. I mean, obviously it has to be able to run on a phone, and even though some of those phone games look really good, it's not one of them. It's
a phone game, guys. Come on.
Yeah. So, and part of why we're going to talk about this is because the MMO dry spell that we've been talking about and is part of the problem with the genre at the moment is in a much bigger part than I realized going into this due, in fact, to the mobile MMO market. I mean, I looked up the list on, Google Play, and I mean, it's literally, if you put an MMORPG into that or the Apple Store, it's dozens, not a couple, not like a dozen, dozens, plural, of mobile MMOs that questionable if they're actually MMOs in a lot of ways. There's none of the I mean, they work just as well as a single player game in a lot of ways. They're really, the online aspect is virtually
smartphones are essentially small computers, so it makes sense that there's not going to be a lot of difference between somebody's shitty computer and their really kick-ass phone. $300 because a shitty computer costs $500 and a shitty phone costs $500. A really good phone, so they're going to be about compatible. So they're going to be able to run games.
Yeah, and they're more and more so. Oh, I've been hit. I'm just kidding. Firework. Playing the MMOs on the mobile phone. I wish I had been shot. The question too, and as I actually asked our Discord, and I got one response, which was in the negative. Well, two, if you count Jazz, but I knew she didn't play them, and I'm pretty sure most everyone else also.
I have looked at a couple of them, but most of them are. Like, I've looked at some MMOs that are city building kind of things, but they're all, you get attacked and they kill it. They ruin everything you just built, and it just irritates the living hell out of me. So I don't. And
it's not pay to wait; it's pay to not wait.
Yes, it's paid to not wait.
Yeah, and Dyer, he said that it's the only free to EQ3D or AQ3D. Obviously, you know where my head's at. AQ3D is the only free-to-play one out there, which is true. It actually is free-to-play, and it's not a pay-to-win. It actually is free-to-play, which is a nice change of pace. And it's a very small dev team, which is why the graphics are less, but it's also so that it can be on the phones. And that's why I actually give it kind of the accolades that I do, just in the fact that they've done something the others don't, and they've actually managed to stay away from the pay-to-win aspect, which none of the others that I know of do. I mean, even the best of them still have a lot of pay-to-win aspects, and that's the mobile market in general. I mean, Candy Crush, all that stuff. That's all there is. But as for who is playing these, as far as I can tell, people like us, if you're listening to this podcast and you play on a PC or a console for MMOs, I mean, you might. I'm not talking about like, oh, that's curious. I've tried it, and you play like an hour, 2 hours, and you forget about it. I'm not talking about that. I mean, people that like will spend money in these things and play them.
Oh, yes,
play them,
and they will.
Yeah, Strafay, you said that you kind of worked in that a little bit.
I did work a small time as a contractor for a mobile studio. Yes, and it wasn't for an MMO per se, but it's the same frame.
Oh, the same principle.
There are paywalls you can reach where you can either pay to get past it and keep playing at a regular speed, or you're playing at such a reduced speed that's you need to have the patience of Job to keep going.
Yeah.
Which is another pressure to get you to pay the paywall.
And even Job was after a couple of days is like, fuck this, I'm paying.
Yeah, even Job was
it's like, I can't, I don't have
questioned it, and then he corrected himself. But yes, it's a nightmare. I mean,
even I don't have the patience of me, said Job.
There are great people that work at these places. That
are
industry workers. The people at the top that are trying to make the money, they actually had records of guys or of customers who just kept paying the stuff, and like they just keep buying the keys, the gems, whatever it is to progress to the next part.
Yeah, whatever the money to coin or crystal or whatever that they do ratio that they have. Yeah.
Yeah, they would just keep getting those tokens. So they could just keep playing and playing. So it's either somebody's kid that keeps playing this stuff, or adults that they just want to keep playing because it's feeding that dopamine.
Yeah, right. And as I said, it's not regular as I would call qualified gamers. We'll go over some statistics here, but I consider gamers to be like people, like console people, or anybody that uses a console or a PC of some kind. That's the kind of gamer I think of a gamer. If that all they do is play on the phone, I don't consider that really the kind of gamer that I traditionally think of. Are they technically a gamer? Yeah, their money spends the same, and that's where the industry is at. And trust me, I got the stuff coming up. So I looked it up because I was curious, and according to the Pew Research, I think if you've ever heard of them, I think a few people may have. They're fairly reliable. Estimates there are 5 billion, with a B, people that own a mobile device in the world. And of that, half of those cell phones are smartphones. So, and I assume the other, 2.5 billion that are left over that aren't smartphones are probably the original Nokia phones still working on the original batteries and they never needed repair and they just never die.
Yeah.
Good old no-kill phones.
I mean, these things are... Oh, man. But yeah, so 5 billion cell phones in the entirety of the world. Keep in mind that 7.7 billion is the population of the planet. So we're almost there. So in about those 2.5 billion. So that's, if you think of that, that's 2.5 billion people that have access to a iStore or a Google Play Store or all those little free games.
Not to mention Windows 10 that gives you even on a shitty computer, which is handheld.
Yep.
You have Google Play to that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep, it's on the computers and everything. But this, just on cell phones alone, 2.5 billion. There aren't that many console and PC gamers, folks. So
yeah,
that's who's playing these things. It's just people, just regular everyday people that download this crap, and it's the predatory nature of all of them. It gets. Even if you get 1% of 2.5 billion people, kind of still a lot of people. Yeah, kind of a lot of people. A lot of people. And of those two, I like numbers, so this is stupid, but it's nerdy. But hey, for me, of the advanced economies, like U.S., Europeans, I suppose the Russians would be in there, 76% own a smartphone. And even, this was kind of fascinating to me, even in emerging economies like India and things like that, I don't think China's considered an emerging economy, but yeah, the third world countries and things like that, 46% own a smartphone. In third world countries. Let that sink in. Doing pretty good. And so why does all this matter? As I said, 2.5 billion people is a huge pool of people that these companies will try anything, and they'll throw, the people will try anything. The people will throw money at stuff, even if, hey, think about it. If every one person of the 2.5 billion people throws a buck at the industry, that's $2.5 billion. And trust me, they're throwing, Straffe, back me up, more than a buck in some cases.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are players that'll barely spend anything, and then we got to see the charts.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be privy to a couple of those meetings. There are the medium range where they'll spend like maybe $2 every 2 weeks or something. And then you have the consistent group that always spends money like every week or every day,
almost every day,
just to get this stuff. Yeah. And those small microtransactions add up to big bucks, man.
Oh yeah,
big bucks.
I accidentally spent one month. I spent over $100.
Yeah, and you didn't even realize it, did you? It was just
No.
It was
No,
just
my
99
husband is the
cents
one that
here
was
and
like,
there.
baby?
Mhm.
Because I don't do that. You know?
Well, yeah.
I'm not. He does. He spends a lot on games and stuff, which is fine.
Right.
But I don't. And he was like, "Did you do these or are we hacked?" And I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, that was me. Holy shit. Okay, no more of that."
Yeah. And it's insidious too. You probably didn't. It wasn't until he brought it to your attention. You're like, you think back and you're like, it was only like $5 every day or so.
Yeah, it wasn't much, and it didn't feel like I was doing it that much,
Mhm.
but I was, and it was for a game that isn't an MMO. Well, it sort of is, because you have people that play the game too, and you're all friends, you know, and you help each other out, and
I mean, you could say it. We're not under contracts or here.
it's. I mean, I don't. It's Township.
Okay, yeah.
That is one of my guilty pleasures. Is Township. And I've been playing it a long time. And I've got, you know, a whole bunch of people that I have no idea who they are. And I have a couple of people that are in real life also play it and are friends with me in the game so that we can share stuff.
Yeah.
So it's, in a way, it's social because then we can talk about the game. And the game is a lot of fun. And I enjoy city building. And there's not a lot of city building out there that isn't this kind of nonsense. So I picked one that didn't irritate the hell out of me. Elvenar pissed me off. So
Yeah,
I moved
and like
to
things like
Township.
Clash of Clans, man.
My husband plays Clash of Clans.
Yeah,
and
you
he
start
plays it all
building
the time.
something, and it's like
Yeah.
a week to wait on something for
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
built. You know?
He plays it. He's been playing it for years, and he loves it. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, I got
So-
tired of it after a certain point. It was fun at the
I-
start, and then it gets so long. I was like, I don't know. I'm bored now. I have to wait a week to do anything. And
It's like
everything.
playing EVE Online. You don't want to like spend real
Right.
time to get stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're getting updates. You're being attacked, and I'm in the middle of wiping somebody's butt or something. I can't.
Right. Yeah. I'm driving.
Oh,
I'm
well,
delivering
hell.
mail. Oh, hold on. Let me stop my job while I defend my fucking.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. So I very quickly got tired of that.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, so with 2.5 billion people considered gamers with the cell phones, that's we're literally at 1/3 of the world's population has access to this stuff. Has access to mobile games. I mean,
I also noticed that every one of my favorite, not everyone, but most of my favorite YouTube channels I follow,
mhm.
they're starting to get these mobile commercials at the start of their things. Like, hey,
Yes.
if you like this show, check out this mobile game. Press this code for some
Mhm.
free loot to get started. See you online. I'm like, no, you won't see me online, bro.
Yeah, and there's a lot of and that's the other thing is they pay the hype that comes with a lot of these. They're paying these influencers to do that. They pay them. Even when I watch Demolition Ranch. I mean, given his at least the games he's doing aren't terrible. It's like World of Tanks, which actually they're actually a pretty good development team both for PC and for the phones. But even they have a lot of that stuff in there. And a lot of these shit games, man, they just throw money at it because they don't need they'll get a lot of people, but they don't need a lot of people to throw money back at them. But they will get a return on their investment. I think it was, God, what was that guy? I forget. It was a couple years ago now. He got caught embezzling money from his company. I think he embezzled some, I want to say maybe $10 million of that. He spent $1 million of that on one mobile game.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Let's see. I just wonder if I can find that.
That's insane.
Let's see. $1 million on mobile
That's
game
very insane.
embezzlement. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, he embezzled. I'm sorry. I apologize. It was only $4.8 million.
Oh,
And
that's all?
Right. Oh wait, no, that was yeah. And California man, it was 5 million. Spent $1 million. Unlock ads. I don't Ugh, Washington Post, you are the absolute worst.
I'm really getting irritated at all of the news things that are like,
Right,
you have
they're-
5 free articles. Now pay us money.
Right. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay it. I don't give a
Yeah,
shit
screw
that
you.
bad.
It's because they're
I'll go
dying.
listen- I'll go look it up on BBC. Thanks.
Yeah. Funny enough, the one below that's BBC actually has it in the headline. It was Game of War. He spent $1 million on the mobile game Game of War. The disgust in Strafe's voice. But yeah, he spent $1 million out of 1/5 of the million he embezzled and stole. He spent $1 million. He managed to spend $1 million in an online game.
Yep, I believe it.
I don't in like a year. I don't know if I could spend $1 million in my day-to-day life without, buying a fucking Lamborghini or something stupid like that. But nickel and you have to think too. A lot of these things with this guy, a lot of them have the cap at 100. Like it's like $100 is as far as you can go.
Yeah.
And you can't put in others. So how many times did you buy it at $100 to get to the?
It would have to be several times a day.
Yeah.
Every day without
Constantly.
any pause.
Yeah. And I know the math of that is not that hard, but I don't know, what is that, like 100,000? No, 10,000 times? You'd have to do it at 100?
Yeah.
Yeah,
something
10,000
like
times.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still a lot of times. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. It's a crazy lot. And you get someone like that, and that company didn't pay that back. Embezzled or not, they're not. That's their money. They're not giving that back.
That's right.
They're not like, oh, all those times those your shitty little kids get hold of your credit card because you put it in their phone and they spend $200 on, I don't know, something. Clash of Clans, for example. They don't give a crap. They're not going to give that back. You put it in the phone.
You just funded their next X-Pack.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot, and it happens a lot. And that all of that is geared exactly towards that. It's just a terrible. The mobile, it's such a shame too, because I was really excited when smartphones came out, and they were strong enough to do things like Angry Birds back in the day when it first came out, and it was just you bought it, you spent the money to buy the game. It wasn't free, and it was yours, and then you just played through it. That was cool. I was good with that model, and I thought actually mobile gaming would be, well, kind of actually where it's at now, but less shitty. And it's kind of a bummer, really, to get. There's not. I look at all these games, Elder Scrolls Blades, for example. Fuck you, Todd. It's a great game, man, until you have to start building stuff, and it has a wait timer. Oh, but you can make that timer go away with real-world money. Mm-hmm. Or you could just wait. Yeah. Screw you, Todd. It's just like an Elder Scrolls game. Meh. I wear a leather jacket. Meh. That makes me cool. You better make sure that.
I mean, that's unfortunately the industry's going that way, so they're getting on board with it.
They really are, and that's what made me realize that all these mobile. What's the other one? Diablo Immortal. Don't you guys have cell phones? They got so indignant when everyone was booing them at BlizzCon.
The other story behind Diablo Immortal is actually it was a Chinese game. It was a wannabe Diablo. And then Blizzard bought it and made it a Diablo.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that part of it.
Oh yes. So enjoy.
Yeah. I'll try it out because that's kind of doing these things and because I'm fascinated with that crap. I do try them. Not typically for very long, but I do try them. So going further into statistics because they're so much fun. Everyone loves statistics. I know, nerds. Mobile gaming revenue alone by itself is estimated to be at about $83 billion this year. They're estimating about $95 billion next year, and by 2021 they're estimating it to be about $106 billion.
That's amazing.
Billion. And it should be noted too, the gaming industry has far outstripped the movie industry. You see all these Disney movies and Marvel and all that. Not even close. In fact, if the charts I'm looking at were accurate, which Pew Research, so I don't know why they wouldn't be, you have to put the Hollywood, the movie industry, the music industry, and the TV industry all in the same column, and they're still not as high as the gaming industry. Games have, the nerdy little thing that we were all made fun of for 20 years ago is bigger than any other industry.
We finally won, Ashen. We finally won.
And then we lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the game crash of Atari before Nintendo. It's too saturated, and they're literally
it is going to strangle
going the
itself,
scum and villainy route.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen soon because as of now, they estimate mobile games are 50% of the gaming market, and they're estimating it is going to go up to 60 by 2021. So 2 years from now, it's going to increase by about 10%. And that's probably not going to stop until the glut of games is just so much and so bad, just like the old school days of Atari, or kind of like where MMOs on PCs and consoles are now. They oversaturated, killed their own genre and their own industry.
And that's what they're doing.
Oh, yes,
and it will crash.
In an effort to make as much money as possible, they are destroying themselves.
Yeah, the invisible hand of the free market, so to speak, eventually this bitch slaps your ass back into reality. You can't ride that wave forever. It will strangle you. Seductively and sweetly strangle you.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, hopefully, because everything else is gonna. But
I got nothing against World of Tanks, but some of these other games, no way.
And there is a lot of garbage out there. For every World of Tanks, there's 100 pieces of shit too, though. That's the problem. And 106 billion. That's too much money. It's too much money for them to look away from. There's just no way. I'm all capitalist. There's no way in hell I would look away from it and be like, let's at least try to give people something worth, like what Nintendo did. I like what Nintendo did. They released that Mario Run game where like Mario only runs in one direction, and you basically just make him jump, and like depending on what he hits, he'll bounce around. I forget what the game's called, but it's an iPhone game or an Android game done by Nintendo with Mario in it. It was $4.99, and we were done. And you just played the game. I was happy to do that because that's how I always figured it should be. And they didn't do free to play. They didn't do Mario loot boxes so you could put a different hat on him or something stupid like that. It was just $4.99.
Could you imagine playing a Game Boy version of Legend of Zelda?
Oh man, I would love
You
that.
got to let's just say Dungeon 4, and then it said, by the way, you have to pay to get this magic key to go so you can keep playing these dungeons. Dude, they would have tanked the mobile games back then instantly. But, it was still new. They couldn't make money out of them selling cartridges. As opposed to today where it's like the quality is... There's some quality, but the majority of it is just a money grab. And it's just, I don't know. Some folks go for it, though. And they're targeting the not normal gamer. That's what the deal is.
It's not... Because it's funny because looking into all of this stuff and listening to podcasts and things like I do on games from like IGN and Kind of Funny Games, and I think that's it. I don't remember any others, so they're the only ones that get credit. A lot of YouTube videos too from just about everybody. But everyone complains about the mobile market. But the thing is, it's all gamers complaining about stuff that those types of gamers aren't playing, and it's literally they're preaching to the choir, because the ones that they're talking and complaining about, they're not ones looking up videos on IGN or anything like that. They don't give a shit about IGN. They don't play, PlayStation 4s and Xboxes and PCs and Switches and things like that. They're on their Galaxy S9, and that's it. That's all they have. That's all they play. And it's probably like our kids, they don't still know how to find things by using stuff like Google Maps and ask for directions, because they're nut jobs. Is that just me? I guess that's just a me thing. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
We've literally had our daughter, I don't know where it's at. Literally, you just texted me that on your phone.
They are preying over. We talked about this in Loot Box. If they're preying on the gambler's habit of, hey, this is fun. So to keep playing, just pay us 50 cents.
Yeah, 50 cents.
Well, yeah, when that goes unregulated for so long, somebody is spinning themselves into oblivion just to play a stupid phone game. And they're addicted. Not in all cases, but in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, what I had said earlier, I don't, I mean, are they gamers? Technically, yeah. I mean, anybody that plays a video game, you consider a gamer. But on the strictest, if you want to narrow down that definition, I really don't think so. But the money spends the same. And you can be damn sure these developers are they're going to follow that money trail. And the trail leads to smaller games on our end of the spectrum smaller games for their end, because they can make more games, they use less resources, less people, less developers, but they get more revenue. And that's
it's not just players also. Yeah, you're totally right. It's not just players, the developers. I remember when we were getting out of grad school and all the game developers I was with, no one wanted to work on phone games. They wanted to work on AAA games.
Right.
And every time someone would come and talk to us about it, it's free to play a model, and loot box systems, people were groaning. We're like, we don't want to do that. But unfortunately, that's where the industry is going, and that's where a lot of folks are now working. And they're great, talented folks. But, the folks at the top, producers...
Yeah, the developers just do what they're told.
Yeah,
they
do.
Paycheck, very few of them are making... Very few developers are like Cuphead, where they're hand-drawing all that stuff, and they funded it themselves, or the guy, Iga, I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they did Bloodstained Symphony, or not Symphony of the Night. It was Symphony of the Night, but Bloodstained Curse of the something or other. I forget what it is. I'm playing it. I just
Curse of the Three Moons from 3 years ago. It's still Castlevania.
Yeah, I just call it Bloodstained, but that he had it crowdfunded and things like that, and those types of developers, Hideo Kojima from, formerly of Konami, that did Metal Gear Solid and is now off on his own production studio and doing Death Stranding. Those are the exceptions, not the rules. The majority of developers are people like you, Strafe, that, make assets and things like that. And something comes across your desk and they're like, hey, we need this modeled by bleh. And you do it.
Let's get after it. Yep.
Yeah. You don't be like, well, I think I have a better idea. And what about this? Space wizards fighting space sorcerers. Doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that. And unfortunately, a lot of devs would love to work on a real Mass Effect 4 or a real Star Control sequel. Or just name it. Name your favorite genre game. They would want to work on that. Any kind of Batman game. Just saying. But the reality is, I can't believe I'm quoting this. My mentor from community college said, Strafe back there wants to work on the Sith Lords 5. Strafe, unfortunately, is going to work on My Little Pony, the next hairbrush. He was so right. And oh, my goodness. You were right, Bill, wherever you're at.
Oh. My Little Pony, the next hairbrush. I'd play it.
Yeah, why not? It could be fun.
It's like those creepy dolls that used to grow hair when we were kids, and the girls would shave it off, and then you would just have a bald doll.
Mm-hmm. Because it only grows so much.
It only grows so much. Yeah. So, with all that, they follow the money. The mobile market is taken off, and it's just turned into a money pit, which is what led us, when we arrived on our episode a couple months ago, on the death of innovation in MMOs. The mobile market is as much... It's actually a much bigger thorn in the MMO genre side than I had thought it would be, and thus, our roleplay. We're not getting new games like we used to. We're not getting new innovations, and all of it is because, how many resources were pulled off over at Bethesda, which they do have a lot of resources, don't get me wrong.
They do.
To do Elder Scrolls Blades when they have, all those other games that they're doing. How I don't know. I assume somebody had to come up with all that stuff. I don't know how many of the assets they were... I don't know how technical stuff works. Strafe, maybe you can help me. I don't think that you can just take existing models and be like, all right, put the dumbed down slider and make it less polygons. I don't think that works like that all the time.
There is a level of detail models, like you literally modeled your mesh to be detailed.
And you
Then
can
you
build
model
up
one
from there.
that's reduced, that's seen far away, and then the further away you get, the more simplified it is.
Right.
So that way, as you're walking through the game, you're not killing the game with all these high quality models. That's how level of detail works.
Yeah.
When it comes to mobile stuff, a lot of times, since the phones, like you said, are getting more powerful, you got Blaze, and it's probably a kit box from Skyrim dumbed down for the mobile market, and maybe they have a team that's doing level design work. Maybe they've added some UI artists that just overlaid new stuff, drawing little 2D potions. You get the idea.
Mhm.
So there are significant teams for these, but these are these little mobile games. While some are innovative, like Fallout Shelter, where you had to manage shelter, it was great. It was free to play. Yeah, I think there is a market to buy atomic points, but you could still play without it.
People played through that whole game start to finish without spending a dime.
Right, and you could do that. But unfortunately, and even Bethesda, I got to give it to them. I think Blades is good from what I've heard. Same for Fallout Shelter, but they still put their mobile market in because it is a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
And why would you not chase those dollars whilst you're making your big title?
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
I gotta say, I've tried to play Blades. It was not good. Imagine trying to play like Skyrim or Oblivion on your phone, but thumbing your way through it, and then when you built something. It was you either waited or you paid not to wait, and
yeah, that's gonna stifle your fun.
Yeah, it was not, and the combat was. I didn't enjoy it. Maybe people.
It's what you said though. They're stifling the big MMO market because they can make more money on a smaller, stupid phone game than a loot box system in a grand MMO that takes a lot more resources to build. And that's unfortunate because I think MMOs what brought all of us together in the first place.
Yeah, and that's in that mindset for the mobile market. It had a little bleed over, in the MMOs into the cash shops and things like that for a lot of cosmetic. It wasn't pay to win and things like that. It wasn't until Battlefield 2 with EA that it bled over as if it was that $60 game was a fully made mobile game, and that's when it exploded. That's when they went nuclear, was when they tried to literally take all the shitty, shoddy mechanics from mobile games and bring them fully into PC and console gamers genre, and that's correctly went fucking nuclear on them. And I'm
pretty sure you can have friends in these mobile games like World of Tanks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have friends lists.
I don't think it's the same kinship as if you're playing in a guild online. Role players or not, or just raiders.
Probably
I think
not.
you make better friends on MMOs with the headset than you do on, oh, hey, look, my friend Arctos 376 is on. He's got a Panzer. We're totally going to rock it now. He's my buddy. But is he really your buddy? You get the idea.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it is such a different beast, and their crossover for it doesn't work well, and it really is taking away the resources from other MMOs, and thus those resources keep us from having new and interesting roleplay in other games because we aren't getting any new and interesting games.
This is why we can't have nice MMOs, y'all. Freaking mobile games. I'm just saying.
That's right. We can't have nice. You're the reason we can't have nice thing, mobile gaming. So, all right. Well, that's enough of the statistics. So, God help me. I actually tried 3 of these giant pieces of shit. As long as
my condolences.
As long as I could, and they all have the same problem in that doing this with like my phone, like trying to be in bed with your wrists bent on your chest, or doing the phone neck thing, which by the way they say the kids growing up with this are already getting bone spurs they can feel through their skin and their neck.
They're getting horns.
They're getting called bone horns. Yeah. Due to always looking down at their phones, growing up like that, it's doing irreparable damage to your kids' spine. So, hey, we got that going for us. The next generation's going to look like fucking Rhino out of Spider-Man. Only out of the back of his neck, not the front. And it won't be a costume. Or Marrow from the X-Men, who had the bone growths. If you nerds out there know that stuff. I tried 3 of them. Lineage Revolution, Old School RuneScape, and the newest of them that had just come out was Dawn of Isles. They all pretty much sucked compared to any PC or even console MMO. They were all awful. The Lineage, and as you would expect, Lineage, it's NC-Soft. It's the Korean Asian MMO market. They always at least make pretty games. Even their mobile ones are pretty. I'll give them that. Dawn of Isles also looked real good. RuneScape, bless its heart.
It tries.
I'm sure it's got a great personality.
You're saying it looks like hot garbage?
Imagine what it looked like on the computer back in the day.
Oh,
Probably
yeah, no.
looks even
Enough
worse
said.
now.
And then dumb that down.
Oh,
Good old Noobscape. No thanks on mobile edition.
Yeah, and honestly, it was probably it had a weird. It was probably the most in depth and actual. I mean, it's runes. It's just RuneScape, dumbed down for your phone graphically and with the HUD system. Although I had actually seen some people preferred the HUD on the phone as compared to the computer because it was the one in the computer's always been hot garbage. But I mean, it's an 18-year-old game that was made when like AOL was a promising up and coming ISP that was taking the world by storm.
Oh, remember the days.
You
got fails.
Right. So RuneScape and so I'll give a quick little review of each of these just to show. And I tried it. I picked RuneScape because I was like, well, I'm familiar with that one. I picked Lineage because I've played Lineage, and I picked Dawn of Isles because it was newer and it had promising reviews. RuneScape.
You hear that sad sniffle in his voice, y'all? I'm just saying.
I tell you, you know what's crazy?
Get ready.
Too? As I was playing these, I actually if I'm not sitting in a chair like I am basically like I am right here, which if I'm sitting here like this, I'm gonna play my fucking computer. I'm not gonna play a fucking mobile game. It's just stupid and dumb. You play mobile games usually when you're, about to go to bed at night, or you wake up in the morning and you're off, but you don't want to quite face the kids yet. And the dogs, don't need to go out. They're not crying. So you're like, I'm just going to play on my phone. But of course, play like this, way back here. Your wrists are bent, cutting off circulation. Your neck's all like this. And eventually my hands started going numb and they would fall asleep. Kind of hard to play a video game when your hands are numb and they've fallen asleep. And they start hurting, or your elbows start aching. This could just be because I'm 40. I don't know.
Or it's because they just suck, right?
Right.
I'm going with they just suck.
It's. I mean, I'm playing on it. I got my phone right here. It's not a small phone. I'm not playing on like a little Nokia flip phone, from 15 years ago. It's good size. Look at that. I got normal. I don't have Donald Trump sized hands. I got normal sized hands. Great hands. Fabulous hands. Everyone says so. And they still fall asleep. They're very delicate hands, though. Got very girdly fingers. They're long and slender. So,
weirdo.
What?
Do tell me more.
They got beautiful. They're beautiful hands. They're delicate. Yeah, don't I have beautiful hands, sweetie?
Yes.
She's getting crackers to eat. She's got the munchies. Completely unrelated. Pot's legal in our state.
Well, we know what she's doing on the break. Muting herself.
How's
the wallpaper looking, Sibs?
I had to let the dogs out.
Mm-hmm.
The dogs. Yes. I understand. Let them
Puff,
dogs
puff, pass,
out.
baby. Puff, puff, pass.
Let the dogs out.
Sib did.
Sip. Yeah.
We can't take them anywhere, Ashton. Seriously. My goodness.
Oh, my God.
That hurts my brain.
Why does anybody listen to this at all? Ever?
They listen for those spots of madness, I believe.
God bless them. They deserve it. We should be paying them subscription fees. So, old school RuneScape is probably the deepest of the ones that I did try, and the most straightforward with its paywall being a simple subscription that you opt into. You basically connect to one of two worlds. The free-to-play world, where things are different, and then the paywall world, which it was like $6 $6 for one, and that one you can sell to other people, and then there was another for like 10. It's your basic subscription that we've been dealing with MMOs since the dawn of time. So, and I was fine with that. I didn't pay it, obviously. I'm just doing a review. I'm not going to actually throw money at it. But the game itself, because it used a lot of the things from the point-and-click mousey kind of way of doing it with keyboard and mouse and arrow keys and all that stuff, on your phone with just your two thumbs, it kind of controlled like diuretic ass. Which is not good. It was very twitchy and not fun. It was like to poke a screen. Okay, so you poke the screen, boop, because you also didn't have like your thumb. Like some of them, you put your thumb on the phone screen and it makes a little knob like a control appear. So then you just move that around and you run around. This is one of those ones where you poke the screen and it runs towards where you poked. There's a lot of stuff on the screen. A lot. There's a lot of NPCs. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of, like, depending on how far out you are, the roofs are displayed. Then you zoom in and they go away. You can clip on the tiny mini-map in the corner, but of course you're on your cell phone. So the mini-map's about a 1/4 inch big.
I can't even imagine how they can even see anything.
It's funny you say that, Jez. The text was also almost impossible to read because it was about, like, you know how we've got our things set. Basic text is like, 2 or 3 pixels across. These were all like 1 and 2, so the writing was super thin because they were trying to go for that old school writing.
Ugh.
But it was also on your tiny screen in a tiny dialogue box that was trying not to block the rest of the screen so that you could point and click on stuff, which, by the way, the dialogue box got in the way of you pointing and clicking to where you wanted to run to. So it was awful. So I would poke the screen and eventually run there. It had a weird like lag of like I would tell it to do a thing. And it would think about it. I think it was just sending it to the server and then back and confirming. I don't know. I have no idea. I guess it said roofs would appear and disappear. The world edges were available. Because cell phones aren't apparently strong enough to handle RuneScape from 18 years ago, that also, by the way, runs on your browser. For some reason, you could actually see the blocks of the world slightly in the distance. And beyond that, the void. I don't know why they didn't just... I have no idea. I know the phones could have handled it. I know my phone could
They
have
didn't put a
handled
billboard scene up is what you're saying, right?
it. Oh, Jesus. You heard about that too, did you? Or did
No,
you?
that's a technical thing. A
Oh,
billboard
okay.
scene is a thing way off in the distance that looks like the far-off horizon.
Yeah, no. Because, well, even where, like... if I went towards that empty space trophy, it would fill it in as I got closer. It was just... The world around me was literally, like, just a circular... That was just what I could see.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's just, this is painful.
It was.
Keep going.
It was so painful. But anyway, so and if you zoomed out too far, your character and the little characters, your NPCs, you're trying to poke to click on because you would poke the priest in the top of his priesty little head to get the quest. But he was so tiny, my big fat finger, dainty though it may be, was too big and fat, and I would just poke around him and it wouldn't register the poke, so I had to then zoom in and poke that to the point where if I wanted to get into a door, into a room, I had to zoom in, poke the door, zoom out so that I could actually go more than like 3
that is what
pixels.
they do, as I understand it. They zoom in and they do all kinds of stuff close up and then they back off and they do it. It's constant in and out, in and out, in and out.
The problem with it...
Control yourselves, Cougars. Down, I say, down.
I'm a pickle Marty, pickle Rick. But the thing about that would be great about that, Jazz, is what you just said. If it was automatic, this
but it's not.
is
So they
not
have to,
automatic.
You have to do it. Yeah, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, just like a playful nipple. I am constantly pinching at the screen. I am just nipple pinching the screen constantly.
I found that when I played MMOs of any kind of game that was more complex than the stuff that I play, like in Township, I was constantly flicking open and then pinching shut constantly. And
Yes,
it was distracting. I don't know how anybody could do that. It's not any fun. I don't get it.
We need to comment on that nipple pinching.
What?
Oh yeah, but nipple pinching
was
is fun.
Horrible.
There needs to be something. I need to get something when I pinch. I mean, it's not any fun.
No, like
Again, the Cougar Hour.
and I gotta say, and for any women,
Well, I was watching Ashton on the screen nipple pinch, and I was like,
well,
no.
And for anybody out there, and women, I apologize if this offends you, but you're just going to have to learn to get over it. But really doing this was basically like anything I did with my ex-wife. It was just a flat surface, and there was nothing and no enjoyment in it. It was...
Oh! What a bird.
That was really sharp. Good job.
Yeah.
I almost spit my chips.
Not a problem.
Were you saying, sir, she was a pirate's dream? Is that what you're saying?
Yar! You could throw...
Yar, Ashen Phoenix.
You could throw the people right off of her, and they wouldn't know the difference.
You could walk the plank on her without tripping at
Apparently, you could throw people on top of her, and she didn't mind. But that's beside the point.
We call that the pirate. We call that the winch.
I haven't thought of this stuff in forever, but boy, apparently it's still in there. I have issues. Oh, and look, I'm over them. So, as I said, and two, the writing was super duper small. Nah, I've beaten that horse enough. And it was really, I was like, I felt like my grandpa trying to read. Yeah, what is this? Oh, I gotta go kill 6 bees, huh? Where's my glasses? It was really bad. I think they were just trying to get like the stylized version the PC has, but I'm sure maybe if this was done on a tablet, it would be easier, but just on my cell phone, it was not an enjoyable experience at all. I got through...
Doesn't sound like it.
I got through the tutorial and a little bit into actually like seeing other people running around, which, you know, apparently there's... unfortunately, too, EQ2, looking at you, buddy. Looking at you. Yeah, RuneScape. 100,000 people playing it. They actually are not afraid to put the counter of how many people are live in their game. 100,000 playing the 18-year-old game. You're not that old yet. You're not. EQ1 is. I guarantee you it's got that many people. But EQ2, buddy, RuneScape's got you. RuneScape, you know what?
They gotta pull the plug at some point, man.
It's just let's see.
It sucks because EQ2 has some of the best housing options in any game, and the guild halls were amazing. And I have the most amazing guild hall and so much money it's sinful, and I can't play that game.
Let's see. RuneScape has 400 people on Twitch right now. Oh wait, that's RuneScape Factory 3. Oh yeah, so RuneScape has 300 people playing or watching on Twitch right now. So. Let's check EverQuest too. Just you know, for no reason other than I do like beating that dead horse because Columbus Nova and Daybreak Games. 39 people. 39 people. 8,000 followers of the EverQuest 2 on Twitch. 8,000 followers. As opposed to ESO, 170 something followers. Yeah, so got that going for you. Good job, Daybreak Games. You did good. Be proud of yourself. All right, so moving on from RuneScape, who I'd give I don't know, I'd give it a solid 5 for effort. I mean, if you got it on a bigger thing than your, I don't know, what is this, maybe 6-inch, 7-inch screen. If you got it on a tablet, it's probably not that bad. And it's definitely got a deeper gameplay than Lineage Revolution. I did this for you guys listening so that you don't have to do this. That's why I did this. I consider this, even though the pay sucks because I don't get paid. I do this for you. I do the things that you don't want to do so that I could report back to you and tell you you've made the right choice. You,
It's
of
true.
the two of us, are the smarter individual. These three
Save,
right here.
saving you grief right here.
These three right here. Did you guys try any games? Any mobile MMOs knowing this was coming up?
No.
That is my level of dedication.
Negative, man, because I
3.
can't stand
I'm
them.
honest.
I tried 3. And I'm not bashing on them. They were the smart ones.
I hate them, dude. I really do. I'm sorry.
I was the water-brained idiot. Yeah. I'm drinking the paste, eating the lead. That was me. 3 of them. Probably a couple hours in each one of them. At least. Dawn of Isles was actually a little more fun, but I'll get to that. So, Lineage Revolution. Got to level like 9, I think. Pretty game. Very pretty. It's basically Lineage 2 dumbed down for the phone slightly. And when I say dumbed down, I mean, wow. The Lineage 2, I did play the original Lineage 2 in like 2003. And I should say in RuneScape, it's exactly like the other RuneScape in that you can be murdered and killed and stolen from. It's a no hold bar. It's a living. It's like EVE Online. Anything that happens can happen. You're just gonna get ganked and
You're gonna get murked, man.
Yeah, and Lineage 2 had that, which is why it was a very pretty game. I actually drew even a character from it, a Dark Elf, because the Dark Elves are hot. Back in 2003. But Asian MMO, NC Soft. So
That says everything, apparently.
NC Soft, makers of City of Heroes. Remember that fantastic game that people loved and adored? And oh yeah, they canceled. Yeah, they canceled. They canceled that so they could go with other games that were not as good. This is basically a game. How to put this? The gameplay is largely a click and move game. And what do I mean click and move? So there's a little box in the corner. It's got a quest box. I'll call this the quest box because that's where the quest is and it's a box. So you take your index finger. Could be either one. For you lefties out there. It is on the left-hand side, so it is a little easier. You could even use your thumb if you got dainty thumbs like I do. Little dainty thumbs. Manly, yet dainty. And you click this little box, and this will take you to the person that you need to talk to. We will call that person the quest giver, for those of you not familiar with how MMOs work. This quest giver will rattle on about some bullshit, and you just click through that quickly with said finger and thumb. Click it again, and you will move to the rats that you need to kill. Click it again, and the thing will automatically attack and kill the rats using your various skills. You click it again after 5 rats are killed, and it will once again automatically return you to said quest giver. Click it once more. Anybody want to guess what happens? Anybody? And there's no way any 3 of you are probably ever going to get this, so I'm just going to... That's right, it turns it in. Yeah. And then he gives you the next quest to go to talk to the next guy, and you know what you have to do to find him? Anybody? You want to guess? Come on, I know you guys can do it.
Click on him?
You click on the box. That's right. Click on the box. And it will automatically take you to the other guy that's anywhere from 2 to 5 miles away. 2 feet to 5 miles. And you click the fucking button, the quest thing, and it just drags you around. There's a couple button skills. Like, so if you're fighting thing, you can if you need to and you feel necessary, like if you want to pretend that you're playing the game, you can do that, and it will do a flashy spinning ninja move, or I don't know, throw a magic missile or something at it.
Something. Keyword.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't need to know what my fucking skills did because everything died instantly. Everything in the game at the beginning, anyway. The loot is fantastic. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's useful, stylish. After that, not so much. But clicking and playing through this game, I actually kind of felt like a third wheel on someone else's first date. Like, I really wasn't. I wasn't needed, and my participation wasn't actually. I don't think it was even wanted. I felt very uncomfortable, in fact, the entire time because I had nothing to do except my one job was, which I could have given it to one of those little, those birds you fill their butt with water and then you do them and they'll tap their beak and then the water will slosh in them and it'll go back up.
Yeah.
And then they'll go down again. That bird could play this game better than I did. Yeah. It's he's actually playing it right now. I think he's level 99.
Wow.
Yeah, I know he's good. He's hardcore. But he doesn't mind the grind if you don't pay for the money. As I said at the beginning of it, and I had to look up because I wasn't going to play till that long. I was curious what the later game is like. And apparently at the very beginning, they do actually give you some decent loot, so it levels you up. And then somewhere along the line, you notice you get less and less loot, and you're getting farther and farther behind, and you start dying. And how do you stop yourself from dying? Anybody want to guess? I'll give you a hint. There's a cash shop with a lot of really powerful items in it. For real money. You buy them. Yeah. And if you don't, it's basically a grind fest. Again, NC Soft, Asian MMO. They love grinding. Love it. They love it. You think they'd work all in a metal shop as much as they like grinding or some sort of like pole in a strip club. It's powerfully pay to win. It's awful. The cash shop gives away all the items in it. It's pay to win. It's literally all it is. And people pay to win at it. And that's where the money goes. So, Lineage it's just awful. There's no reason for me to have played it. Again, the dumb, stupid bird with the water in its butt could have done a better job of playing it than I did, and probably done it without his wrists going numb. So, and lastly, but not leastly, and this one actually is kind of pretty. If you guys look up Dawn of Isles, it's a mobile game. It's out on both iPhones and Androids. And of all of these, it's probably the only one I'm not going to completely delete off my phone after we are done with this. I actually was playing a little bit more of it when storms rolled through today just to make sure, and I got a little farther. Got to the part where pets get involved, and that's where I found where the pay-to-win part was. Because before that, I was like, where's the pay-to-win part? And then I got a pet that is part of the game and the mechanics, and I was like, there's the pay-to-win part. Gotcha. It is very colorful, and I saw some people were described it as like Zelda Breath of the Wild in style, and I can't argue that. Visually, it's a little on the cartoony, pastel-y side, I guess. But kind of like how World of Warcraft was back in the day, only it doesn't. It's newer, so it hasn't aged as badly as World of Warcraft has. It looks good. It's got a lot of style to it. It's very clean. It's very unlike Lineage and RuneScape, where it was very difficult to differentiate between enemies and plants and the background and your character and other characters. It's very, very clear. They did a good job of the distance of the camera angle, the size of the resources. It's kind of a resource gathering game. It's very craft heavy. You kind of make your own tools, and those tools you use to make to loot, or not loot, but craft or scavenge for items to make more tools, and those tools you can make more tools for to get food, and then you can craft food, and then there's also make a sword involved, or in my case, the girl had a bow. It is gender locked for the 4 classes, but there's only 4 of them, and it's a mobile game, so typically I don't like that in my MMOs, but mobile games, so it doesn't really count. Don't really care. Combat was really spam attacky, with like, I've been shot again. Spam attack with one special move, and later on I found I got another special move, which is your pet, and it will like go, and it's really super cute, and it's cuddly, and it will bite things. I don't know.
This all sounds painful, bro.
Yeah, actually did have kind of a cute little story. It wasn't difficult to read the screen. Since they weren't keeping a chat box up at all times, it would pop up when it was necessary when you're talking to the NPC. So that wasn't so bad. I didn't have a problem reading it. They actually it wasn't voiced over, but they had like kind of like Simish, but it sounded sort of Japanese or Chinese, but not really. It was like an Asian language of Simish, which I could be super offensive and try to recreate, but
Please don't.
Well, now I feel like I have to just to bother Jazz.
You kind of have to now.
Yeah.
She threw the gauntlet down on you, bro.
But it's actually more of a Japanese. It was like, Godzilla is coming. We must flee the city. My kung fu is better.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Jazz.
Love it.
Your kung fu, no good. My kung fu, better. But no, it wasn't anything like that because that was in English.
Well done, Ashen Senpai.
If you're watching on the camera, my mouth was moving in between actually speaking too, so I really had the full dubbed over look going. Because we're just that kind of special. Does have the cash shop, and while at the time I wrote this, I wasn't sure what it did, but yeah, you can use it it has a somewhat of a training thing, like a Pokemon, kind of like you catch the pet you get, you can catch more of them or other ones that are stronger with a cute little thing, like you throw a rune at it and then it puts them in a little thing and your character does a little dance of trust in front of them, which is oddly adorable. And then they suddenly trust you and will die for you, as is the way of all pets in the wild. Try that with a grizzly bear. It's good advice, Jazz. So yeah, that's where the pay to win kind of comes in. I don't know exactly how bad it from the look of it, it didn't seem as egregious as the other two, or actually just Lineage and most of the other ones. RuneScape's wasn't that bad. But I mean, pay to win is pay to win. It's not something that goes over well in anything outside of the mobile market. What was that game that BDO started getting some pay to win stuff in it, and that did not do it any favors. Although it does very well overall. I still think Black Desert Mobile. There's a mobile version of Black Desert. Yeah, even Black Desert Online has 5,000 viewers. Take that, EverQuest 2. You suck, and nobody likes you. What? Let's see. Dyer says, Dawn of Isle. Oh, okay. So it's made by NetEase, and they make great. He says they make great mobile games. They're making Diablo for Blizz, Eve Mobile, and I think a Destiny Mobile. I'm having because I listen weekly, trying all the mobile MMOs. Sorry, man. You gotta. I don't read that. I'm not good at reading. I never learned how to read. But yeah, and they're NetEase. They're the ones that did that. And that's cool that they're doing some of the other stuff. And they do good stuff. It's just when it comes, I can guarantee you the ones they're going to make for PC and console, it's not going to have that pay-to-win stuff in it. That's just something that does not go well, at least in the Western markets. Outside of the Asian markets, they seem to love pay-to-win stuff, even in their computer games. I don't know why, which is odd that they're the ones. I don't either. Yeah, and it's funny, too, because they're the ones that are throwing a hissy fit over EA having the loot boxes and the Battle Royale stuff. Like, they don't want it to be random. They're more than happy to let their people throw the money at it, just as long as they know they're wasting it on exactly what they're wasting it on. It just can't be random. I've been shot again. So, yeah, like I said, Dawn of Isles, I give it a 7 or an 8. I mean, it's as a mobile game, it's still not great. But it did have a nice combination of the control sticky thing that I was talking about, where you put your thumb on it and it'll move around and you can explore on your own, or you could do the little click the box and it will help you move to the next area kind of a thing. It won't do it all the time. Sometimes you actually do have to look around. So it was a nice little bit, but just not looking like hot garbage made it kind of the winner of the 3 that I tried. So all in all, these games, they really didn't change my mind completely on why I dislike mobile gaming as a whole. Almost just, in fact, they mostly reinforced it after hours and hours of playing these 3 games. And I do try out, and I try these out all the time. I don't know how many mobile games I've downloaded and tried, and I always am turned off by the predatory nature and leave every single one of them.
Their target groups are largely young people, so it makes sense that we're going to be like, I work really hard for this money, and you can't have it. Thanks.
Yeah, and it just I don't want to play it. Mm-mm.
Because the main target for free to play is millennials on up. They're targeting a different group altogether for these free to play, not free to play, but these pay to win games.
You mean
it's
millennials
a completely different genre and a different culture. They're not focusing on American.
You mean millennials on down?
No, millennials up, like millennials, Gen X.
Yeah, but that's
older.
That's me.
On up, because free to play appeals to older gamers and to people who have jobs, because we understand.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying now. Yeah.
But people that are either very wealthy and don't care about money, or are incredibly bored and have some kind of disposable income, are going to be more likely to play this. And I really don't think Americans are their target.
No, we're still I think 50 to 60% of the market, at least when it comes to like PC and console gaming. When it comes to the mobile gaming, it is. And when I say the majority, that's just anything over 50%. It doesn't have to be like a crazy amount, but the majority of it, I think, is like 60 to almost 70% is over in the Asian markets. Like it's just China. I mean, China has a billion fucking people.
All those areas, they have a phone. They live on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
They work all the time.
It's like why
little time they have, they've got 15, 20 minutes. They want to enjoy a game. They don't want to think about it.
But bus rides and train rides.
Yeah.
When they're not being crammed into them like sardines with the guy literally pushing on some person's back to squeeze them in before the doors close. Those videos are make me twitch. Well, it's like the gaming culture in Japan. They are huge on the mobile, like the DSs, the Nintendo DS systems, and even the Switch now, because it's pretty mobile. They have a huge market for that because a lot of the places they go, it's trains, it's bus rides. They have a lot of downtime in their commutes, and it's their culture is also very different. They're family oriented and a lot more communal and things like that. So they actually get together to play. When here in America, like my Switch or my not my Switch. Well, yeah, my Switch and like the DSs. If I have a game and someone else has a game and we both have a DS, we can play Mario Kart against each other, and it's on our own screen and it's supposed to be awesome. I don't fucking know anybody that would have that, and I would have to literally go to their house to do that. Whereas with them, it's Sanji 2 doors down. It's not that big a deal. They can play through the walls. It's okay. And Sanji is from an anime. I'm not being racist and making up a name.
You're so terrible.
Yeah, it's a good name. I could have said Yoshi.
True.
It's also another name, Yoshi P, the guy that does Final Fantasy XIV. It's Yoshida, but they call him Yoshi P. I don't know where the P comes from, actually.
Usually from your bladder.
Could have been Hasegawa, bro. I'm just saying.
So bad, Jess. So bad. I'm just so disappointed in you. A P joke? Really? You're going to drop down to my level?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, gutter's over there.
I'm familiar.
But yeah, so I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna give my money to these things. Like Apex Legends. Apex Legends was that battle royale game, and when it came out, it's free to play. I enjoyed it enough. I actually did throw money at it so that I could buy some of the non-free characters. I didn't have to. I wanted to. I knew willingly. I'm like, I've gotten enough enjoyment out of this. I'll continue to get enjoyment out of it. Here's $10, $20. Go for it. They deserved it. They earned it, as far as I was concerned. Apparently, by their model, they've done a very good job of it. And if more games were like that, I think that things would go a lot better for the industry as a whole. But unfortunately, it takes a lot of balls these days and be able to have somebody smart enough to know that if you have something good like they did, you don't have to be a slimy little 80s CEO to do it. But in the end here, closing us down, this isn't a trend that's going to actually go into reverse anytime soon, if maybe ever. I mean, the market's going to have to saturate itself like Oklahoma in the last couple months and flooding. More people have smartphones than gaming PCs or consoles. Because you have to remember, while a lot of people have a PC, they don't have ones like we do. They connect to websites and they shop at Zulily.
Yep.
And Amazon.
Lot of Amazon.
Amazon. That's what I'm talking about. Where Gormal gets all his pork products.
Ugh, could you imagine that being delivered to your doorstep?
Oink oink, it's the piggy bus.
So
I was gonna get those spare ribs. I tell you what.
But yeah, so the market it's only going to grow. The developers are going to keep shifting their efforts towards it until it plateaus or worse. And this is probably where I think it's going to go. Governments start getting involved with things like surprise mechanics. Thank you, EA, for that. When you already called it loot boxes, and which they said to federal government people when they got pulled in front of them, they called it a surprise mechanic because they were trying to reclassify it. I don't think anyone bought that. But hey, paid millions to lie. I guess, you're in the right place. You're in Washington.
Politicians aren't very bright.
No, especially when it comes to technology. They're probably a decade behind on where they need to be. There's a few of them every now and then that will be like the ones that are like, guys, maybe we should listen to this Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking's guy about artificial intelligence and the danger that it could impose to the entirety of the human race. Sorry, what's that? I just got this Candy Crush game on my phone. Anyone else playing this? Is this new? Anybody? No? Okay.
Not a lie. It's only sad because it's not
true.
a lie.
Yeah, it's funny because it's true, and it's sad for the same reason. But with the...
Can I just say, the one I really liked was Words with Friends. And it was not a mobile MMO.
No, it's just a mobile game, and at least that one too. I liked how that one did it. They had two kinds of that game. They had the one where after every round or after every move was it that you had to watch a little preview or something would pop up.
Yeah.
Or you
I think.
pay $3 or $4 and you buy it and it gets rid of the ads. I'm good with that too. Give me the option.
Yeah.
Give me the option.
I like that one.
Yeah, that one was fun, and I sucked at it. If you ever want to play Words with Friends with Sib, my advice, don't. Don't. A lot of my really think they're smart friends started playing with her, and then they just stopped playing with her.
I'm really good at Words with Friends because I go for the points. I say fuck the words.
And
she goes for the throat. You hear that? Right for the throat.
I do.
And for
when
me,
it's games like that, yes.
I had the great words, the best words, amazing words, cat, hat, cop, bot, not BOUGHT, just BOT, bot. I eventually started winning a few towards the end of it, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I just don't like words.
Because I felt bad.
Oh!
I think
it was a pity win? Oh, goodness.
I think she was just using that other app that goes along with Words with Friends that will just fill in the best words with the letters that you input it.
Yeah.
No, she totally didn't do that. I checked. Which was all the more disappointing that I just sucked that bad. I'm really not. I'm good at writing.
Well, the problem. Okay, here's the problem with Words with Friends.
Do that.
People don't go for the points. They go for the words.
They just I have cat.
You have to go for the points. I mean, if Zap will get you the most points, and you got like a 5-letter word that gets you, 4 points less, you got to go for Zap. Or you've got to go for the points. It's the point.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah. If you get those letters, go for it.
Yeah. Me, I was just like, I got a word. Spoon. I was not good at it. But and there's some things out there in the mobile market that are good, like Words with Friends or World of Tanks. There's some that actually care, like World of Tanks and World of Planes and Warplanes and stuff like that. Those guys, they really, really like what they do. I've seen the stuff that they put out, and they totally dig on it. They know what they're doing. They're having a good time. They love it. So that's why those games do really, really well. And then there's other ones that, like, hey, we've got a budget of $1 million. Let's throw $100 at some stupid Twitch channel. Which, by the way, rpmradio.com, we do take bribes. We are open to bribes. And have them try and say how great this game is, and we'll put them in a contract where they can't bash it after the fact. Otherwise, we'll come at them with litigation, and they will. They will totally come after those guys if they ever end up, even a year later, bashing the game that they were paid to promote at one time. You can never basically talk about it again in anything other than a fine line, which is why if that stuff came towards us, $100 is awesome. Not going to do it because your game is garbage. It is hot garbage. If I ever got a promotion like that, it would have to be because I actually did believe in it. Sorry. It's money's great, but it's not everything. It's not worth there's very few things in life. Your word is pretty much the only thing that can't be taken from you, but has to be given. So yeah. That's where mobile market is totally destroying and helping dampen down our roleplay. It's I think it's a big reason why we've not gotten a lot of really good MMOs. Market saturation was one of them, and then it shifted towards this and battle royales, I guess. Anybody else have any last final
I think
words?
you nailed it, boss.
Yeah. I think it sucks because I hate those games, battle royale and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play those games, and I hate them. So I'm out of luck when it comes to enjoying a game that's an MMO if this is the trend.
Yeah, and that thing is too, like, for me it's okay. At least I can get through it because I like the single player games. Like, I'm Cyberpunk 2077, looking forward to that. There's one some plague game, I forget what it's called. That's came out recently. That's like Senua's Sacrifice. It's short single player short. It's 6, 7, 8 hours, but it's a single player narrative. You play through it and things like that. I like those games. I like story based games. But for someone like you, Jazz,
yeah, I don't play.
You done fucked.
Yep. I love MMOs. I came into this genre and was like Nirvana.
Hey, Sibs.
Yes.
Can you imagine Jazz running on nuclear winter with us? What does this do? Why did I die? That wasn't fair. Got you, Jazz.
That is what will happen. Do not bring me to those games. I will get mad.
Yeah.
I do not.
She has, and you have 76. You could actually try it out and just be like, and that way you could come back to the show and be like, yeah. I know myself better than I thought.
My husband wants to play it.
I absolutely fucking hated it. Yeah.
We went and we said we were going to play it, and there was this huge download. He downloads slower than me, so he was like, well, we're not doing that tonight.
Yeah.
So that sucked for him.
And you were like, oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. Oh, see you later.
Probably not untrue.
Maybe you didn't say it out loud. I'm just verbalizing the internal structure of a woman I've known for over a decade.
I would not have said it out loud, but I'm pretty sure you knew that's what I was thinking.
Trolls, if you're listening, I know you are.
Yep.
You know what's going on, broski.
Yeah, just remember, she loves you enough not to say it out loud, just on a podcast where lots and lots of people will hear it. Not to your face.
Bud.
Not to your face, just behind your back, the way God intended it to be.
You're not helping.
Really? Because it feels like I am. So, tune in next time while I give out marriage and couples advice. You know what women love, guys? Wait until the
we
middle
go.
of the night, late at night, when she's dead asleep. You know she's dead asleep because you've been listening to for the last 2 hours.
I don't snore.
Whatever. Take an ice cube.
I'm going with Ash on that one. Whatever.
Take an ice cube. Slowly pull back that elastic band on the underwear if they're wearing it. Some don't. Slide that in. They love that. Women
You
love
apparently
being
wanna die.
woken with an ice cube.
You want to die. That's what it is, right?
Or an air horn. Or,
The air horn has the added bonus of making them jump out and freak out and like generally make a mess of themselves.
or if you really
So
want to
go
get
take
them and you have
pictures.
very small, patient children, tell your kid it'd be real fun to play a game with mommy where you play the silent game while she sleeps and stand right in front of her. Right in front of her on the side of the bed.
Uh-huh.
You want to hear a true story on
And
that,
then get
Ash?
close to her and then slowly breathe. What's that, Strife?
So true story. When Cab, my little brother, was probably like 5 or 6. He would go in there to my mom's room and he wouldn't wake her up because he didn't want to get in trouble. So he'd stand there and stare at her until she woke up. And my mom said, I felt like somebody was staring at me. She turned around like, there's my little brother. Like he's a little bitty Cab staring at her. She's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I needed this or whatever it was. He had the worst habit of doing that.
I'm thirsty. I need a glass of water.
Serious business, man.
Little kids are creepy as hell.
And in the dark, the lights weren't on.
Oh,
He'd
yeah.
stand there.
My
Yeah.
kids would do this. They would come into the bedroom and they would just stare at me, and I'd wake up and jump out of my damn skin because they'd be standing there staring at me. Mom, I had a bad dream. And now so have I. What do you want?
You know what fixes that? Freaking lock on your door.
Yeah. Then they sit there. Oh, when Xander was little, he would sneak into our bedroom at night and lay. He didn't get into bed with us, which was weird because a lot of kids would just crawl into bed with you. You'd wake up, they'd be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. He would lay either on the foot of the bed, on the bed, and I would accidentally, because I hate anything on my feet. It's not my fault. The cats lay on me, and I will send them airborne. They learn very quickly.
Just like
to
a
stay off my
pro.
feet. And he would lay on my feet and get off the bed and go.
Oh.
Crying, so he stopped laying on the bed altogether, and he would lay right on my side of the bed on the floor and curl up with a blanket and his stuffed animal, and he would lay on the floor down there. And of course I would get up in the morning and I'd step on him.
Oof. All right.
Every freaking morning.
All right, well, since we're horrible ways to wake up parents, so I don't remember what this movie was. It was from the 80s, and there were kids involved, and like the guy at the end like turned into he turned into a snake, and like partway through the transition he had like the man of a face, but he had the cobra stuff on the outside, and it was super 80s scary. So, and I saw that movie. So that night I was sleeping and dreamed where there was a bus and there were people on the bus, and everybody suddenly started running off the bus, and they were all like, get out of the bus, get out of the bus. And I was not on the bus, but I could see the snake that was in the bus. They're like, it's a snake. And it was going so fast that you could actually see it. It's a dream. Go with it. And I was like 5, but it was running around the windows of the bus, like so fast you could see it as it slithered across the window. And there was one guy on there, and he was not getting off, and he was just sitting there like nothing was wrong. And the snake kept passing him. And then, so I went up to him as a little kid, because for some reason I was tall enough to look in a window in a bus, and I knocked on the window, and he looked at me, and he had those snake eyes, and he had a scale. He looked like Voldemort with scales.
Oh, geez.
So I bolted out of bed, and we were in an apartment in California at the time. I was 5. So bolted out of bed. I don't remember going down the hallway, but apparently I was, and they did lock their door. And I hit it so hard, I rebounded off of it and then started pounding on it. And so that's how my parents woke up, and I was unconsolable. Never
never locked their door
inconsolable
again.
Yeah. And Of course, this was, and earlier in my childhood, apparently, or around that time, I guess, I had night terrors as well. I would not wake up screaming, but I would be screaming and be unable to be woken up.
Yeah.
Don't know why. This one I woke up from. It scared the shit out of me. I still remember it. I've found that movie. I was trying to find it.
I can see that image
Yeah,
in my
it was
head,
a.
but I cannot think
That's
of
pretty
the
rad,
movie.
bro. That's pretty rad.
Let's see, movie with Snake Guy. There's Snake Man. That's not it. It wasn't some stupid ass movie recently. It was a bad movie, but it was from the 80s. Anyway. 80s. There we go. Let's put in 80s. Grindhouse of Horrors, Hiss. Nah. Dreamscape. That was it. 1984.
Oh, I saw that.
The movie
I remember
Dreamscape.
that.
Yeah, and the fucker's even at the top of the goddamn poster. There he is, that big snake. It's even done by the guy that painted the Indiana Jones posters. Look at that. It's a good-looking poster, actually. But, yeah, Dennis Quaid was in it. He was a psychic or something like that. I'm going to have to actually look that up and watch it now and see if it still horrifies the shit out of me.
You gotta like how the movie poster looks like a knockoff Indiana Jones.
It really does. At first, I was like, "Wait, it's Dennis Quaid," which I love. Of the Quaids, he is definitely the not crazy one. Randy, I'm looking at you. So anyway, we've gone completely off the rails.
Of course,
But
because
yeah.
we always do.
Yeah, Dreamscape. If you haven't watched bad 80s movies, this is
Did
1984.
you post that picture?
I did not. You want to?
I'm going to.
Go for it.
Because it was
It's
creepy.
80s. Oh, that's the one right there. That fucker right there scared
Yep.
the shit out of me. Look at
Yep.
that. Tell me that wouldn't give you nightmares as a 5-year-old kid.
I don't know.
No.
That just blows
That was
my
pretty
mind.
brutal. All right.
Yeah. Scared the hell out of me. So, well, now I'm going to have to click on the host chat so I don't have to keep looking at that horrifying figure.
Straight shitsar before we added an EQ2, EQ1.
Right. And you know what's funny is the Shizar from EQ and EQ1, they always reminded me of that fucking movie. That's why I hated the Shizar. I don't like them because of that stupid movie. Yeah. So that was a horrifying tale from my childhood.
That was an old one.
84. I was in 84. I was born in 79. I literally was probably 5-6 years old when I saw
There you
that.
go. Here's another good one.
No, stop putting them up.
Yeah.
See, look
You
at
can
that.
delete
Even
them
it's on a like a subway car.
Yeah.
That's where I got that whole dream was literally just recreating that awful scene and made me bounce. Yeah, and there's the Shizar. See, look at that.
Yep. They definitely got it from that movie.
Mhm.
I mean, it's too close.
Way
to
too
not-
close. And yeah, not to mention they're 15 years apart. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Definitely.
that's crazy.
Somebody was like triggered by that.
So I'm gonna go have
Well,
nightmares tonight. I'm probably next week. I'm gonna see if I can remember what I dreamed tonight because I tend to forget, but I do dream every night. We'll see. We'll see if I have one of those horrible dreams where everywhere you try to step, there's snakes. Yeah, I still have.
See,
those.
I love snakes, so that doesn't get me. But
Nope.
I'm told, I watched Tarantula when I was 4 or 5,
That's a cool picture.
and
That is a cool picture.
that is a cool picture. I like that.
That was from some EverQuest thing. I don't know if it got made or not.
I watched Tarantula. My mom came to pick me up, and she had me watch Planet of the Apes and then Tarantula when I was 3. And I have had nightmares on those 2 movies for the rest of my life. I still can't watch Planet of the Apes to this day. I can't.
Really?
I can't watch it.
Dude,
It
those are
freaks
mild. This is
me
why you don't
out.
watch. This is why you can't handle aliens. Okay, I get
No.
the root
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I can't. Planet of the Apes, the old one and the new one. I watched snippets of the new one. I had to get up and walk out of the room. My kids
The
were
new
like, "What's
one's
the
not
matter?"
so bad
Nope.
because at least they
Nope.
actually look like the monkeys.
Why does
they
it
are
bother
monkeys.
you though?
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is watching Tarantula, which I did see again, and was like, it was cheesy damn
It's
movie.
awful. Yeah.
It's absolutely awful, but I can't watch it. I started feeling spiders crawling on me, and I had a complete panic attack, and I
Arachnophobia,
couldn't
though,
breathe.
is a movie that still stands up and will give you the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. No,
Yeah,
my
that
sister,
one.
my best friend was like, "You have
John
to go with
Goodman.
me to see this," and I'm like, "Nope, not gonna happen."
Yep, that's a good one. All right, well, let's turn this stupid thing off before we're just gonna keep talking about old movies.
Maybe that's a topic we should do.
The old movies.
Oh,
This has been the old movie preview on RPMO Radio.
That's right. All right. Well, hopefully everyone learned something. It'll get better sooner or later. Probably later than sooner. But appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be here next week, 7 Central Time, twitch.tv/RPMMO Radio. If you want to join us live, we actually can call in. We haven't had callers in a while. But rpmmradio.com/Discord if you actually do want to call in. I think next week we'll probably make a special announcement. We've kind of been holding off on it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes next week. With that, I want to speak goodly and well. None of which is going to happen. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thank everybody on my crew, Jazz, Sib, Straffe. I am Ashton Phoenix, and join us next week when we will talk about why halflings are probably the seedlings of little baby snake people. Next time on RPMO Radio. Have a good night, everybody. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game raw covers and original music.